beloved souls. I'm so excited that this is my first YouTube video. It's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to start a YouTube for years now, and this is just all in divine timing is what I'm trusting. Don't overcomplicate your purpose. Your authentic self is your purpose, okay? Stop trying to make sense to other people. Stop trying to make sense to your logic brain. If something makes sense to your heart and your spirit, that's all you need to know, and that's enough confirmation, okay? And I promise the more you let your heart guide, the more things are going to start to make sense for you. So simplification, and yes, I'm going to be looking at my notes, but simplification is a tool of liberation, is what I have down. There's this one sentence that I channeled years ago that has been my North Star for some time, and it's that the ego overcomplicates and the soul simplifies, okay? The ego is always going to overanalyze and overthink and think that what we're doing isn't enough, and that, you know, we still have to achieve X, Y, and Z and all of these things. And the soul is going to simplify. The soul will find your purpose in the mundane. And don't think that because it's the mundane, it's insignificant. You know, what we know as mystics and what we learn from ancient mystics is that in the mundane is the divine. So when we're living out our purpose in mundane ways, that is going to translate to also manifesting your biggest dreams, because you're cultivating that frequency of your unique connection to source. You're feeling your connectedness to source. You're feeling your connectedness to your heart, and it might not feel that way in that moment, but what that's doing is supporting all of your manifestations at the same time. So I do want to note that. So since this is my first video, let me do a short intro. I'll probably do a longer intro video at some point, but just for the sake of today, hi, my name is Elif Fatima. I'm a multidimensional artist. I'm a Sufi healer. I'm an energy healing practitioner, and my family is from Turkey. So I grew up partially in Turkey, partially in the US, kind of the best of both worlds and sometimes worst of both worlds, I will say. And yeah, I've kind of dedicated my life to film. I went to film school. I got my master's in film. And after graduating and kind of contemplating my role as an artist, I also discovered energy healing. And well, actually, me discovering energy healing had a lot to do with me looking for ways to heal my trauma. And so I discovered energy healing, and I've been weaving my healing work and my film work and my creativity work for some years now. So this YouTube and my TikTok and hopefully upcoming my newsletter is going to be dedicated to the ways in which I've been weaving these two worlds together and why it's important to me that I do that. Now, getting into some of these questions. What is my purpose in life? Why am I here? What am I good at? How can I help people? And why did I incarnate on Earth? Now, all of these seem like really big, complicated questions, but I'm here to say that it's really not as complicated as society has made it out to be. And the first thing that I propose we do, in my perspective, is to decolonize the idea of purpose and to decolonize, why we're here. So, and decolonizing in this video's context means unlearning colonial belief systems. And I know decolonizing tends to have various meanings, but for the purpose of this video, it means unlearning, right? Colonial belief systems. Now, I love the way bell hooks insisted that we constantly critique imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist, heteropatriarchy, okay? Because we have been systemically conditioned and pretty much brainwashed that our purpose is about laboring at our job. And our purpose is not laboring at our job, okay? In fact, our purpose has nothing to do with our job. And even for me, as someone who's been meditating on this, practicing authenticity work, even for me, sometimes this is hard to really nail down in my brain that my purpose doesn't have to do with my labor, what I'm laboring. Even if it's something that I love to do, even if it's a spiritually aligned business, like my purpose isn't actually attached to my labor. And so this is what I want to propose, is my perspective, and everyone's allowed to have their own perspective, is that our purpose is vibrating in our authentic frequency. And by loving the earth, by loving God, by loving ourselves, is how we cultivate this authentic frequency in our hearts and in our aura and in our field, okay? And the way to think about this, like an example could be, think about someone who really inspires you, someone who I feel like when you think about them, when you see them, you're just inspired to do better, to be better, you know, to go after your goals and something like that. Is this person perfect? Like, would you say that they're, you know, like a perfect human being? Like they have all their ish together and they're, you know, like a workhorse? And likely the answer is going to be no. And I feel like it's very likely that the reason why this person inspires you is because they're very deeply authentic. And their authenticity is inspiring you to be your version of that. Again, like when someone is really inspiring, it's because their authenticity is radiating this energetic information out into the world that's signaling frequencies of trust, of oneness, of justice, of compassion, of ease, you know, freedom, and all these divine attributes that we know to be true. So when we're seeing someone and we're really inspired by them, it's because they're mirroring our own divinity back to us. And this mirroring is actually an invitation for us to start emanating our own divinity, for us to start vibrating in our own divinity, our own authenticity. And I tend to use the words divinity and authenticity interchangeably sometimes, because the way I see authenticity is me being so connected to source and so connected to God that I become this really beautiful vessel, you know, of just like divine love and divine truth. And since we're simplifying being in our purpose, when we define it as vibrating in our authenticity, our purpose gets to be in the mundane, right? Like maybe your purpose is in enjoying sitting in the shade of a tree. Maybe your purpose is in enjoying tea with your grandmother, kissing your grandmother's hands. Like maybe your purpose is in seeing a tree and just expressing a lot of gratitude in that moment, you know? And like maybe it's writing a song, maybe it's forgiving someone, maybe it's like really feeling how connected you are to all living beings. That feeling, that a feeling can be a purpose as well, can be connected to your purpose as well. So, and sometimes this frequency that I'm talking about cultivating can lead to productivity, right? But the goal isn't productivity, right? It can lead to creativity and productivity, but that's just like an organic result of cultivating that frequency. It's not like if I'm not productive, then I'm not in my purpose. It's that I am in this frequency of my truth, and that's that being enough, because that is enough in the eyes of the divine and in the eyes of love. Vibrating in our authentic frequency is also how we take our power back, right? Because, you know, a lot of these systems of oppression are designed to keep us in timelines of scarcity and fear and lack and poverty and war. So essentially, frequency work is so interesting because it says, I see this cruelty and I'm choosing to be in the frequency of compassion. You know, I see that there's war and I'm choosing to be in the frequency of justice and balance and accountability. You know, like I see your frequency. It's like I see you this and I raise you this kind of like energy almost, like, and that to me is energetic sovereignty work and what we're here to do to, you know, ascend individually but also support in the ascension of the planet, because the planet is, as we all know at this point as healers and starseeds and highly sensitives, that the planet is in a very rapid period of awakening and ascension right now. So again, when we're energetically sovereign, we cannot be coerced or manipulated because we are connected to source, and in other words, we're connected to our power, and in other words, we're connected to love. Vibrating in our authentic frequency is also how we are serving Mother Earth during this time of great awakening and great possibility for ascension, okay? And we can't be stewards of the earth or of spiritual realms if we're not being ourselves. Coming back to my rosemary oil to get regrounded. More grounding, please. I'm not used to talking this much. I am grounded. I am balanced. I am grounded. I am balanced. I am grounded. Okay, I have a little baby story that I want to share. Yesterday morning, on my morning walk, I saw one of the prettiest flowers I had ever seen in my life. Like, she was just standing so tall, and she was like lilac, and she had like, you know, this like magenta inside, and like the very center was this like very bright yellow, and this flower was just so beautiful to me, you know. And I just stopped and I was looking at this flower. I was just remembering how loving God is, and remembering beauty, and remembering that, you know, God really created us so we can experience pleasure and beauty and joy on this earth, you know. And I could physically feel that that moment of contemplation was shifting my vibration. And I was like, wow, this is a moment where I'm being in my purpose, you know. And so I want to propose some homework, not homework, but just an experiment. When you're living your day-to-day, like, have just like a little notebook, and take note of any moments throughout your day where you feel this deep sense of gratitude, or where you feel like you helped someone, or when you feel like, you know, you were connected in some way. Just jot down little notes when you had this feeling. And at the end of the day, I want you to look through those notes, and I want you to note that those little things are ways in which you're being in your purpose. And maybe the next day you can do some of those things more intentionally, right? Like, if you had this moment of like noticing a really beautiful sunset, maybe, you know, in the upcoming weeks, you can intentionally visit a place in nature where you can, you know, spend time with a sunset and really like be in that intentional sacred space of receiving its wisdom and appreciating its beauty, and really like practicing that cultivation of your authentic frequency. So cultivating our authentic frequency is basically like breathing air. It's essentially who we already are. It's not something that we have to try to do, right? So the only thing is, like, we just want to set boundaries with the things that are maybe keeping us away from our truth or our joy or our authenticity. Even if you find 5 minutes in your day to have some intentional time to like be with your heart, I promise that is going to make a huge difference for you. So here's what I have written down, okay? Our purpose is hidden in our joy, our pleasure, our wonder, our curiosity, in our authenticity. It's as simple as listening to the birds sing in the morning and harmonizing with them. It's as simple as walking barefoot on the beach and feeling a sense of gratitude. So, like, the more we simplify this work, the more powerful it becomes. And this is, you know, one of the laws of the universe. Because when you let go of effort is when a lot of the times your manifestations start to come to fruition. When we're in a state of surrender is when we receive the most, you know? And this is just something that the mystics, ancient mystics, have been teaching us for centuries. Let me just wrap this up as much as I can. Let's do a short meditation. Inhale and exhale. Inhale the light that's around you. Exhale any energies that don't belong to you. I want you to inhale the divine love that's around you, and exhale Any energies that you're ready to let go, I want you to inhale into your heart center, into your God spot, this place of divinity, this place of unconditional love that's beaming in your heart, and to really let that light stir and spiral out into your whole aura, your whole field, really giving permission for your light to shine within you and around you. And we're gonna bring in healing streams of light from the cosmos, from the heavens, to wash over the whole aura. We're gonna ask Mother Earth to bless us with grounding. And we're gonna ask Mother Earth and our angels to bless us with healing, with cleansing, with purification of our intentions. We're gonna ask Earth energy to wash over our whole aura, nourishing our fields, validating our feelings that need validation. We're gonna ask the element of water to wash over our whole field, blessing us with the gift of intuition, with the gift of being in divine flow, and really come into this place of, at the center of your heart, to this place that's your God spot, that's this unchanged place that has your light, your essence, your truth. And we're gonna ask that this light starts guiding you, starts showing you how to show up authentically, starts washing away anything that's, any kind of barrier to you showing up authentically. We're going to ask your higher self to be with you, to guide you. We're gonna ask a healing from your higher self and your angels in this moment. And just breathe into this healing. Just receive this healing. Just let yourself be loved in this moment. Let yourself be held in this moment by Mother Earth, by God, by your higher self. And just set an intention for yourself. So, thank you so much for watching. If you watched this far, I hope that this video spoke to parts of your soul and your heart and your spirit. And I hope the noises weren't as distracting. I hope the noises weren't very distracting. And my intention is to post possibly every 15 days. I don't think I can do weekly just yet, but every 15 days. So please, do all the YouTube things, comment, subscribe, and please do just love yourself and show up for yourself. And I promise that when you show up for yourself, it's also supporting the earth and it's also supporting all of us.